Hey, we all know that lobster is king in New England, but in this episode, I'm going to show you another way to enjoy lobster. So stay tuned, we're making lobster pie. Hey, we're still in February, and you know what that means? We're still doing New England, and guess what? This time, we're bringing out the big dog, lobster. And I could have just done boiled lobster or steamed lobster, whatever. I think that's kind of boring. I mean, you see it all the time. For those that have traveled up to Maine or New England, and it's probably what you had when you went to the restaurant. Oh, I gotta get steamed lobster with the melted butter and all that. Okay, probably most people have been there, done that. So what I'm gonna do though is that other dish in New England that people love. And no, it's not lobster thermidor. No, it's not lazy man lobster, but lobster pie. And there are several different versions of lobster pie. And gosh, each one of them is really fantastic. I've had the creamy lobster pie when I was stationed down in Newport at Bowen's. I've had the lobster pie that's more like scampi at the Weather Vane restaurant. And then there are several versions out there in Yankee magazine that kind of call for the use of the tomale. So I kind of looked at it all and say, what can I do that's kind of make it my own? So I'm going to kind of do a hybrid of 3 different types of lobster pie, and hopefully it comes out really good. I think it will. And so I'm going to just go ahead and open your eyes to some lobster pie. So what goes in our lobster pie? Well, of course, lobster. I've got about 2.5, 3 cups of lobster meat. I've got about a lot of butter. Actually, I'm probably going to use about 10 tablespoons of butter altogether. I have 1.25 cups of half and half. I have 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers. This is going to be our topping for our pie, our crust. No, it's just topping. I've got a few sprigs of thyme, fresh thyme, that I'm going to put in my butter as I'm melting it and flavor up the butter. I've got 3 cloves of garlic that I've minced. I have some freshly shredded Parmesan cheese I'm going to put on top of my lobster pie just before it goes in the oven. And I have some tomale. Now this is the head juice. This is stuff that some people love. And this is the stuff that some people go, ugh, what the, no, get that away from me. I love it. And it's going to go in this dish. It's not going to gross you out. It's going to be really good. And I have a little bit of reserved lobster juice from the pot that I boil my lobsters in. Just in case I need it, things start to thicken up a little bit too much. I've got something to thin it down with. I also got 4 egg yolks. I'm going to use that as my thickener, so I'm not going to use any flour in this recipe. There are recipes that call for flour. I'm going gluten-free on this, and I have a little bit of sherry here. So, I'm going to kind of get things arranged, and then we'll be back to start pulling this together. Alright, to get this lobster pie started, what I'm going to first do is to melt some butter and prepare my Ritz crackers so we can get the crumb topping out of the way. So into the pan goes my butter. Move this over to the side. And I'm going to take the crackers that I've placed in a Ziploc bag and just crunch them all up. Now I'm going to take my crushed up Ritz crackers, place them in a little mixing bowl here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my melted butter. And that was about 6 tablespoons of butter that I melted. So I'm going to go ahead and add the butter into my cracker crumb here. And what I'm also going to do is take about half of my tamale that I removed from the lobster heads and add that to my crumb mixture here. And we'll give this a nice mix. And now I have a nice mix on this, so I'm just going to set this to the side, bring my pan back over, and get some more butter melted so we can start our sauce. So what I have here is some more butter, and we'll go ahead and drop this into the pan. 1, 2, 3. Let me see, 4 tablespoons of butter. So we'll give this a little swish around, get this butter melted.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fresh thyme here, and I'm going to put about 4 or 5 sprigs of fresh thyme in with this butter, so it can get some nice flavoring. Also, I'm going to go ahead and add my 3 minced garlic cloves. And wow, this is smelling good. Okay, so we have some nice garlic sauteing action going on here. So the next thing for me to do is get my sherry ready to go into my little mixture here. So what I'm going to do is add about a 1/4 cup of sherry to my melted butter. So into my butter goes the sherry, and we will go ahead and, a little bit more there, and we'll go ahead and cook this down a bit. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and take this lemon, cut it in half, and then I'm going to squeeze about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into my mixture. And just a little pointer when squeezing lemon, I like to kind of break it up a little bit with a fork. Then I put my hand on the bottom of the lemon, so that way I don't allow any seeds to drop into whatever I'm squeezing my lemon into. Now I'll go ahead and continue cooking this base down for our sauce a little bit more here. Go ahead and get this lemon cut up, because I'm going to actually use some lemon slices to garnish my lobster pie when it's complete. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add just about a 1/4 cup of my broth, my lobster broth, to the mixture. I'll bring it back up to a boil and continue to cook this down. And at this point, I'm also going to add the remaining tomale from my lobster, the tomale and the head juice. And I'll go ahead and mix this into our base. So this is reducing down nicely, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and add the half and half into the base. There we go. And we'll give this a little stir first and see if I need to add any more of the half and half. It's looking good, but I can go ahead and finish off the rest of the half and half and add it to the pan. There we go. We'll give this a nice little stir. Then I'll go ahead in and pull out the thyme sprigs. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and start to get ready to thicken our sauce. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of whip up my egg yolks here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take some of the sauce, add it to my egg yolks, to start the thickening separately from the sauce. So I don't want to really curdle the sauce. So I'll start a little bit of the sauce in my egg yolks, give it a nice little whisk, and then I'll go ahead and add this mixture back into my sauce to actually thicken. A little more sauce into my yolks, and one more. And I'll whisk this up, and we should be ready to go ahead and thicken the remaining sauce. And now to go ahead and put my yolk mixture, my yolk thickener, into my sauce. Whisk this in. Wow, this is really smelling nice. So I'll continue to whisk this, cook this down a little bit more, and then we should be ready to add the lobster here shortly. Now this looks to be thickening up really nicely right about now. So let me go ahead and give this a taste. Nice consistency. Oh, let's try this out here. Wow. Needs absolutely nothing. And I want to point out, I've added no salt to this. We're dealing with seafood broth. There's already got some salt in it, so we'll let the seafood do the natural salting. Now, in goes our lobster. We'll give this a little bit of fold. I'll shut this down, and then we'll get our topping ready, and we'll go ahead and pan this up. I have here 2 casserole baking dishes. This will probably hold enough for 4 portions, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and give these a nice little spray, an avocado oil cooking spray. So we're going to go ahead and divide our mixture equally between the 2 pans. I also want to point out that I have my oven preheating to 425 degrees. And now to add our topping to each dish that we prepared previously, and divide it equally between the 2 pans. And there you have it, ready for the oven.
All right, so we have our lobster pies ready to go into the oven. I have the oven preset to 425 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and put those on a little sheet pan in the oven in case they bubble over for about 10 minutes. Okay, in the oven they go, and I've got a little pan in here sitting there. "10 minutes. Alexa, set an alarm for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Hey, and I just got to give a big shout out to Jacoby Plumbing, who got our new gas range in yesterday afternoon. Hey, Adam, there we go. We're cooking. Looking good. Hey, why don't I point something out too? Watch this. I love this oven. Hey, you tap on the glass and the light comes on. Who'd have thunk it? Anyways, 10 minutes. We'll be right back. Hey, I just want to point out that I forgot to put, see this is, this is real. I forgot to put our shredded Parmesan cheese on top of our pie. So they've only been in a couple minutes. I'm going to throw some Parmesan cheese on top and it'll be good. Hey, so I just want to let you know that the timing on the baking in the oven is off. It's not 10 minutes, it's 15 minutes. 10 minutes is for if I was making it scampi-like, but since I did the sauce version, it's an extra 5 minutes. So it's actually 15 minutes in the oven. Now, this came out, it looks perfect. It smells really good, but I'm gonna let it cool down just a little bit before I sink my teeth into this, and I really gotta let this cool down because it'll burn me. I also want to point out this little baby here, cornbread. Now, if we were at the Union Oyster House in Boston, you'd be getting a nice slab of cornbread with your meal. And if you remember, in one of my other episodes, my rice cooker episode where I cooked, I think, oh gosh, what did I cook, Lori? It was no, it wasn't couscous. Quinoa, that's what it was, quinoa. And I said, hey, you can even cook cake in these little rice cookers. Well, I did. I made a cornbread in there, and wow, it came out perfectly. So we're gonna have a slice of this cornbread with our lobster pie. So we're gonna let this cool down. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and it's time. And you know what time it is. It's time to sink my teeth into this. Hey, but before I sink my teeth into this, I gotta do my shout out. And this episode shout out goes to, hey, guess what? The bubbleheads out there. Yep. Sub-base Groton, Connecticut. So all you bubbleheads down there in Groton, Connecticut, this episode is dedicated to you. Lobster pie, you get one of the better ones. Anyways, let's go in and try this. Now, I was thinking about putting my lemon on it first, but I'm gonna do it without the lemon. And see if I can get a nice piece of, there we go. And a nice chunk of lobster. Oh my, this thing is just chock full of lobster. Nice sauce, crumb topping. And got a little bit of everything on there. It's a little hot though. All right, here we go. Smelling good. This is the best thing I've cooked so far on my channel. No crap. This is it, right here. This is winner lobster dinner right there. It doesn't get any better than that. So when you go up to New England, if you gotta get a boiled lobster, get a boiled lobster. But ask somebody if they got lobster pie. I'm not even gonna put my lemon on it because I don't need it. It's just that good. Just a hint of sherry and wow. This is killer. It's good. It's really good. It's lobster pie. And so hey, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, most importantly share. Hey, and right over here, you can go ahead and click on my little logo if you need to subscribe. So hey, until next time, thanks, and we'll see you.